bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you, he is with you, in the morning, in the evening, in your coming and your going, in your weeping and rejoicing. He's for you, 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 he is for you, he is for you, he's for you, he's for you. Amen. 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 Amen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another experience of Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday. Welcome back to another experience of Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday. I'm Ajay the African. You are Alkebulan. Yeah, that's it. And we are always focusing on the rise of the African, which is our social media Pan-African movement. to bring Black youth, Black parents, Black people, the African diaspora together under one umbrella, and we seek to give, share spiritual awarenesses and spiritual gems and spiritual downloads to help us to become a better and greater people in relationship and connection to God, and in purpose. We say everything we do is connected to the covenant where, God says, I will be your God if you be my people. So we are seeking to be the people of God. So it is the rise of the African, embracing the culture and traditions and history of who we are as a people, embodying our reason for being here, the completion of the journey in which we are all called, and which is a good thing because that song talked about a unified blessing from God going from generation to generation to generation. It wasn't necessarily a song based off of individual blessings for individualistic focuses and goals and attributes. And so, with that being said, and we've been talking about family blessings and connection for a minute now. And so today, the spirit hit me. Spirit hit me like that. And gave me a download like that, and gave me the topic of what part of the body are you? Huh? What part of the body are you? Now, and in this space also, I'm gonna share that my niece Fataya, hey Fataya, just had a little baby girl, and I called yesterday, and I was so excited, I was screaming. And my sister said we have another edition, which is a beautiful thing. So now I can say we've had that I know of one, two, three, four generations that I can speak of. Wait, one, two, wait, three. I'm the third. And then we have four, five. Five generations from my grandmother down to my great niece. Now it's five generations. Wow, we made it, y'all. And they say we're black folk because of slavery. It's hard for us to go back that far. It's hard for us to grab five generations and say one, two, boom, 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 and know somebody. Not know of somebody, but know somebody. I can say now, I know five generations. Ain't that something? That's a beautiful thing. And so, what body part are you? When she said that you're an extension of the body of who we are as a family. Now, and then, so that triggered today's topic of what body part are you? And you can look at that from scripture, 1 Corinthians 12:20 through 25. Now, in this particular scripture, they're explaining how your body, in terms of looking at the community of God, the Black nation Israel, they're looking at how comparing it to the body of or the community to a limb or a part of the body, and telling you how one part of the body is no more important than the other. The ones that you see great parts of your body, the ones that are doing less or don't even get as much focus should have the same amount of attention. So there's no one better than the other. It's just one body. And that's what they talk about when they talk about dealing with the body of God. We're all manifestations of God. So there's only one, there's many parts, one body. Right. And so in that conversation, when I'm sitting there, in the conversation of what body part are you, again, they're breaking community down into segments. But in that community, there may be multiple parts of a community, but then there's only one body. So that means everything, every part of you has a purpose to a greater purpose. And so you can go from microcosm because you can talk about the people of God creates one body of consciousness. You can say, like you said, one limb connects to another limb that creates a full body, breaking it down. And some body parts are used in particular ways. My pinky does not have the strength of my thumb. Two different, pinky and thumb. What you can do with your thumb, you just can't do with your pinky, right? But you need all of them to grab onto something, right? It's all useful. It's one hand, multiple fingers. Now, what is your hand without your wrist? What's your wrist without your arm? What's your arm without the elbow? And what's your elbow without the upper part, your shoulder? What part do you play? And so when I was putting this together, I was asking myself, what part of the body do I play? And I said, then I said, I could see myself. If I saw myself, I could see myself as an elbow. Wow. Like, what? Yeah, it's dark. It's a little nubby, hard though. It's real hard. Again, I was being playful with this when I was thinking about it. What the part of the body am I? I can be a knee. I definitely can be a knee. Knees, joints. I can be joints. I can be shoulders. A connecting piece in the community. That connection. I'm gonna connect the generations together. What? Everybody's always asking, how do you always stay connected to every time a new generation comes out, how are you always? Because I'm an elbow. I do the connecting. I do the connecting. I am the connecting. Let's get there. Then I can sit down and say, you know what? I can be a brain. I'm a thinker, a deep, deep thinker. People used to see my silliness as a they couldn't see past the silly and then realize how much I embrace the thought processes that happen within me. That level of consciousness. I'm gonna read, I'm gonna write. Yeah. I can be vocal cords. I speak a lot. You feel me? And so I can I always saw myself as a person in the community that it can be placed in almost any situation because I can thrive in almost any location of the body if I'm a part of a greater group. How do you fit? And a lot of times we have problems fitting in to the body of the creator or the physical body of God, which is us, because there are no places for us, but there's always a place. Sometimes we wait for people to tell us what our place is, and we go, I'm old. Oh, you know what you are? You are a chest plate. Yeah. You're gonna be your muscle. You're gonna be, what? Muscle. Your teeth. You eat, you know. Really? You're waiting for somebody to tell you what you are. You're the foot. And sometimes we have an opportunity to figure out who we are and how we fit into our community ourselves. The conversation is, what part of the body are you? And then finding that part of the body, because this is the basis of Black unity. This is the basis of who we are and what we come to be. When you can sit down and say, let me see how I fit within that community, which is the manifestation of the greater body. This is the topic. Because in that community, we said this is, if you've been watching World of Keebaland, you know that this statue means God and community, right? The bigger piece, the lower pieces are the community, the larger piece is the creator, and the fact that there is no you see no beginning and end, it's just a flow. There is no separation. And so understanding that all things, all things are God. That's the Giname symbol. Supreme being. Everything is the creator. and there is no separation apart. This pinky is important. The palm of my hand connects all the fingers together. They make a fist, but the fist is nothing without the wrists and the arm and the shoulders. When you throw a punch, you throw a punch from the base, your feet, all on my. It's all one being. It's all one God. We're all connected in that space. And so we've been going through experiences where the season of graduation, the season of development, the season of change, at the end of every year is that. And then I was looking online and I saw, and I'm gonna post his pictures today. I hadn't had time to sit down. I've been so busy, but Kyrie and a couple of others are getting ready to go away to college. And as we were blessing them last Sunday, we was in church and we was talking about the graduates, and they all, a lot of them came back and you know had their graduation suits on, and I was looking and I was deeply emotional. I didn't know I was gonna be that emotional. I was, I stood behind a couple of brothers and was praying over them and had tears in my eyes because I saw an extension of the body that I'm a part of, and it was a beautiful thing to watch our youth develop into strong body parts, regardless where they're placed, regardless how they're used. You could be an ankle and be beautiful. I felt connected to all our youth. And in that space of watching our kids grow up, the concept of what part do you play? Because now they have to go off. You have elementary, nursery school kids going into elementary school kids going into middle school kids going into high school going to college. You have some college graduates coming out into the world. What part of the body in which we are as God's people, what part do we play in this whole collective thing? And so I'm always talking about, and I don't know if y'all remember this, and I hope you do. I said my eye is plural. My I is plural, meaning that when I say I am strong, I am creative, I am, my I does not just deal with me. It is plural because I am a collective part of a community, a group, a people. I identify with my people. So my I mm, is never just about me. And a lot of people they get to that point where it's all about me, myself, and I, but that's a plural experience when you can see yourself in other people. So then I thought a little bit deeper than just my I, because I said, when I said my I is plural, I said, wait a minute, there's another way to spell this. My I. My I is plural. And I started looking at the concept of when you're saying I, you're speaking about your state of consciousness. There's one level of consciousness of with all small levels of consciousness. But it's all the consciousness of God. It's plural. It's everybody. It's everybody. It's just not me here. My I is plural. My consciousness is plural. I'm singular and plural in the same state. We are singular and plural in the same state, meaning that you're a manifestation of all my thoughts. I'm a manifestation of those thoughts, those thoughts, those thoughts, those thoughts, everybody's thoughts. It's not just you. I didn't get here just be from me. So my I, when I speak on my level of consciousness, it's a plural consciousness that is a singular at the same time. Right. And so in this space, when when you're seeking to try to understand what part of the body are you, this is a breakdown moment. That step by step. How can you get to this understanding where you're figuring out your functionality. As you, as an individual, how do you fit in the whole of who we are as a people? Not only just in your family, right? Because you think about that's my family. I am in my family because you're a manifestation of everybody in your family. Everybody. Your I is plural. How do you fit? What do you do? What do you give? What is the purpose? And then some of us may not even know. So that's what we're going to talk about. How you get to the point where you know what body part are you? How are you functioning in our community of people, a community or struggle or purpose? Where is your place in all of this? Because you do have some kids who didn't go to school, who's not going to college. Individuals that does that mean you're less than the next? Nope. Somebody gets a Ivy League and someone goes to a community, you think that's different? Nope. Why? Because we all function as one unified, one people, one purpose, one cause, multiple parts. Yeah, unified. And in that space, when you're seeking what body part are you as you move forward? What can you do? What's your purpose? Why am I here? You feel me? This thing right here, my Adam's apple. Why are you there? What are you used for? Yeah, you feel me? The nostril, my left nostril. Do I really need you? Everything is as important as everything else. Everything is as important. So trying to figure that out. Now, as we go about learning and understanding what body part are you, and then understanding the importance of who you are, in order to get to that point, we're gonna start with how you think. Let's get to the point where how do you think? You're trying to find out the parts you play in society, the parts you play in the world, the parts you play in God, the parts you play for your people, the parts you play for your family. We got to see how you think first. You have to be open minded. You have to be in that growth mindset, meaning that there is nothing versus a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset means nobody can talk to you. You can't, there's no room for development. So when you're learning who you are and whose you are and what you're here to do, that means that you have to be open to learning and growth and development and failing and trying and growing. It's a whole different mindset, an open or growth mindset. And in that space where you're dealing with growth, there's stages to this game, stages to realizing the part you play in the creator, the part you play in the community, the part you play in your family, the part you play in your neighborhood with your cousins. Who are you? You're going through that growth phase of learning that. And everything plays a part in your growth. If you look at it, right? It's the same plant with different stages of the same plant. Yet each plant is planted individually, right? You see it? Now the question is, what were the things, the parts that played to get it there? You had to have soil. You had to have what type of soil, right? So it's not just the plant, it's the soil the plant sits in. The quality of the soil will determine how well it grows. Was it fertilized? Is it unfertilized? And how much water did you use? Did you overwater it? Did you give it just enough water? Again, it's a body of experience, a body of individual components coming together to make one massive thing. So that means everybody who exists in the experience of God is important to giving God's true mission for you. Everybody is a part of it. What are you here to do and produce? You have sunlight, but then too much sun on a plant will scorch the plant. So you put it in, moonlight comes up. We don't control that. That's all God. Still one system. Many components manifest the growth of a plant. and then the environment in which you're in, you know, because you can have a plant surrounded by weeds. Them weeds are going to take over. Plant ain't going to live too long. So is it cultivated? The land is it trimmed right? If is it a beautiful thing? Because if it's wild, weeds kill the thing. Weeds going to grow, and so certain things have to defeat weeds. Pull out weeds. If you see somebody gardening, they'll pull the weeds out. Things that will destroy what you're trying to create. Pull out the weeds. But there's a lot of components that make a rose a rose. And people, oh, it's so beautiful. It's not more beautiful than the dirt that it grew in. Everything plays a part, and every part that is played is needed and deserves the amount of love, respect, and attention. It's how we get to be one people in the mission of God. And so, the first thing to get to that point where you're understanding what part do you play, what part of the body are you, is functioning from a state of gratitude. One, you're trying to find the part of the body that you are. One, live in a state of gratitude. This is being grateful for everything and all things. You have a little brother who has a big sister and is always looking up to the big sister, and that little brother's like, I don't get to do this, I can't do that. Yeah, but you get to be here and be glad and be comfortable with where you are. Excuse me. And in that space, when you're grateful, it's all a ton of thank yous. As you move forward and you're going through life and you're finding successes, be grateful for everything. If you While you're trying to find the part that you are to play in God, what body part are you? Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. You breathing? Thank you. Somebody smiles at you, smile back. Thank you. Give thanks for all things, large and small. And then giving thanks is another thing about living in a state of gratitude, giving thanks. But then before you just give thanks, there's the next thing, another thing other than giving thanks, not before you, because you always give thanks on top of everything else. But you have to also then just give. Give. My thumb is here and it gives what I need. You never realize how much you need a body part until a body part is hurting. If you hurt your side, it's like a rib, get hard. And every time it hurts or you move and you realize, ow, that's sore, ow, that's sore. You realize how important that part is. If that part is gone bad, like people have carpal tunnel in their wrists, right? And so you do things with your arms that abuse that part. You don't know you're abusing it. You're using it in the wrong way, and then you get it's pain. I remember one time my hand, I don't know what I was doing wrong, and then my hand just curled in like this, and it was painful. And I actually had to beat the muscle and treat it and take care of it. I had to give to that part. Every part of you gives. So when you're giving, when you're living, you should be giving. If you're living, you should be giving. That's going to help you get to understand the part of the body that you are. If you are living, then you are giving, giving something. Don't just take. And if you take, you're grateful and you're giving that gratitude. You're going to give, you're going to live and give. Now, one other thing that can help you, and this has helped me. Now I'm living, I'm giving, and I remember the days when I was young and I'm running, I'm gunning, right? And I had to come up with something that I use to this day to help me find my place, my part. So, okay, well, I'm going to get to know who I am. And my I is plural. But who am I in the greater I? I had to create something called my motto. I remember speaking to a young man whose name is Zion, and we were creating the digital boards. And I wish I had the digital vision boards here. And I didn't think, well, it's natural. I didn't know I was going to go into this conversation. And as they created it, I said, "Let us know who you are." He said, "I am Zion." And I laughed so hard because he gave it so much passion. And I said, "Zion, what does that mean?" And he has two older brothers that are incredible. His two older brothers are incredible. But Zion was clear that his motto was, "I am Zion." And you couldn't take it. Well, what that mean to you? That means that I'm me. And he was happy and proud and strong of being himself. Man, little lion. That's all I saw. And I'll see if I can't pop it up that quick. But powerful. For me growing up, I was watching wrestling, and I said I saw heard of somebody's motto and lived by it. I am the best that is. I'm the best that was. I am the best that will ever be. And so as I moved forward in life, I always said I am the best that is, I'm the best that was, and I'm the best that will ever be. Man, I don't know how young I was when I was saying that. And for those who know WWF, y'all know who I got it from. The best that is. What are you? Nowadays, I always say I can show you better than I can tell you. I'm an elbow. I'm at work. I'm putting that elbow grease in. That's what's the elbow grease? Yeah, that work. I put the work in. What's your motto? What can you say about you that triggers your gratitude, that triggers your giving, that triggers your intensity to be the part that you are so that you can find it? What is it? What's your motto? I could show you better than I could tell you. Yeah, that's that African. I am the African. That is also a motto to me. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? Calling myself IJ the African? Man, I got a whole sermon coming with that one next Sunday. Because we talk about we submitting to the will of God. But it said, always remind yourself who you are in God. Mm, that's what I am, the African God can believe in. Now, in that, once you follow, you have that expression of who you are, your own personal slogan, your own personal phrase, something that you can live on, stand on, and be by. I'm gonna always be my best self. I'm a great design. Come up with a motto. Say it to yourself. Create the one that where you believe it, and then watch the part or your awareness of the part of the body of the creator in the community that you play manifest itself from that. I'm the best it is, was, and will ever be at what? Whatever I'm attempting to do. And then when I give into that, I'm gonna find out what body part I am. And so when you got that, then you follow your heart. Mm, you follow your heart. When you're searching for what part of the body are you? What do you play? What do you do? You follow your heart. And let's get this. It's the things that make you feel, not necessarily the things that love. Not only the things that you love, but the things that make you feel. Watching a child grow into their greatest self makes me feel connected to everything. So I can't let this go. And when I do let this go, I'm gonna be transitioning. But I'm gonna be sharing love and helping the next generation manifest itself and my fellow brothers and sisters manifest themselves to their greatest self because it's what my heart makes my heart beat. I feel more. Oh, I love to build. Yeah, but what does it make you feel? Mm. And that's the difference. If you're not in your feeling of connectedness, your feeling of joy, your feeling when you master something, you're like, wow, and you're in love with it. You're in love with what you do. Follow your heart, making people laugh. Why? And I do comedy too. You know, one love, Mike Ben, stage. Yep. And in that space of seeing people laugh, there's a feeling I get of joy that I just gave someone joy. It's a feeling of connecting that person. It's a feeling of being that person. I sometimes imagine what it feels like to be the person I'm seeing. That's why when somebody sitting there and they said, you feel it. You feel, hey, what's wrong? Why? Because they just tugged your heart. You're feeling it. You see this going on. Everybody having a good time. And you go to part to be out. You want to be in it. Why? Because you feel it. What gives you a feeling? What activity in your life gives you a feeling that's going to help you determine what body part are you? What do you feel? And then when you get there in your feelings, it's, oh, you in your feelings now. Yes, because feelings help me communicate certain things to myself and the people around me. I'm in my feelings, not in my rational thinking. Because people will think rationally and think, well, I could do this, I could do this, do this. No feeling in it. No feeling in it. So it's no really sense of connection. And then when you get into your feelings, follow your heart, you then also figure out what your passions are. Follow your passions too. Your heart and your passions. Sometimes they're two different things. Like I have a passion to what I'm creating now. Wow, we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna have to get my advertisement on social media marketing pieces left. I created some things that are going on for the world of Keeperland. Wow, can't wait to tell you it's coming. It's a passion of mine to create a program that can fund itself. That's my passion. The passion of mine to create a youth program that can fund itself, where we can have individuals in our community functioning in our community with their kids being a part of the programs, and we're not a financial burden or stress to the parents so that they can develop life. I know the part I play. And it's not only for the youth, because I realize that a lot of my ministry is supporting adults, developing grown folk. It's what I do. And so my passion to create is to create an experience, to help create an experience within the spiritual community that helps people to follow their passions as well so that we can be a full body. And I feel it's my heart, it's in my heart. I love this thing. People say, oh, you love graphics. "Hmm, no, you love photography. "Hmm, no, you love what I love to do. I love to see God's people come together. And so whatever that takes is a passion of mine. And I follow that passion until it manifests into the experience of me being able to do what I love, which is bringing God's people together. Mm, that's a feeling. And so that doesn't matter. And then in anything that I have to do that, I'm gonna be the best it is, the best that was, and the best that will ever be within myself. Because there may be somebody who does something better than me in my own passion. That's fine too. But I'm still the best it is this was. Why? Because I am you and you are me. And if I watch somebody do something greater, that's me doing it. My I is plural, especially when we bring in the God's people together. Now, of course, you have those situations where, yeah, you got people doing things that are really not as good as you, but they act like they are. That's because they're trying to assert themselves in their motto. So don't take it personal. Just keep doing what you do and watch God work it out for you. Another thing that you have to do when seeking to understand what body part are you? What body part are you in this space? Is you have to educate yourself. Keep educating yourself. And the best thing to learn about is you. Like what? The best thing you can take time learning about is yourself. Learn about you. And that's why African history, African spirituality, African culture, African tradition, everything, because you're gonna tap slowly into the people that God called us to be. And in that peoplehood, you're gonna see how you fit within that people and so in your family. You have individuals who are auto mechanics, father, your grandfather, auto mechanics, and I'm going to educate you on what made us us and how we are who we are. Take your time to always learn about you and then the world around you. So start with you first. I don't like vegetables. You don't. That's you. You don't like the flavor, but do you know what they do for you? Then when you realize what they do for you, you might change that. Why? Because they assist with the development of the body parts, actual body parts, and so that you can be the best body part, right? You got to always educate yourself about yourself in all levels. Never stop learning about you. And it's how you find your identity within you, within God. And know that in this journey, when you're learning about yourself, it will hurt. And you know how they say, no pain, no gain. We say we function from a collective mindset, a positive growth mindset. And so we change that because you're going to go through ups, you're going to go through downs, you're going to go through successes and failures. No pain, no gain, but we're going to sit down and say, I want you to open your mindset. Because when you're educating yourself, we need to educate you and say, I know pain. Why? Because you know what hurts you, what keeps you from moving forward, what stops you from being your best self. I know what the pain is. Then I also know what my gain is. I know these things. It's not NOW, it's KNOW. No pain, no gain. Know them both to get to the greatest you so that you understand who you are in God. What part do you play in your community? What part do you play in the life that you're given? Know the both about you. That's why, again, you have to keep educating yourself. That's the key part of mastering this thing. And for us as Black people, as melanated people, that is culture, that is science, that how we connect to science, is how our religious spirituality, it's everything. Our history is deeply important. Educate yourself, and you will get the chance to know the pain that we have been experiencing, but also you'll know the gains. You'll see how great we are in this journey where we're seeking to be a complete part. Because some people will tell us in terms of the body of God we exist in, that the part we play is insignificant and does not need to be glorified. That's a lie. That is a lie. We pay more. We're more influential to the development of God body as a race of people than any other race. Don't and never downplay your importance in this space. Never. And that's why I know the pain of my people because I know the gain of my people. I know what we created. I know what we did. I know how we lived. I know what we shared, and I know what was stolen. I know how we was treated, how we are still treated. I know how I fit, and I know what I'm supposed to do to counteract the pain so that we can live in our gain and our blessings. Mm. Also, and in that space of knowing the pain, to know the gains, also, you have to practice self acceptance. You got to love who you are where you are. Real talk. Your teeth are used. If you look up the name of teeth, the different names, molars, bicuspids, all these other, they all got different purposes. They all have different purposes, but they all work together for one thing, breaking down the food that you put in your mouth. So when it goes down your throat, okay, this is it, to the digestive system makes it easier, but they all got their own purposes. Ain't that something? Every tooth. Look it up. And which is the same as no different than anything else. Everything has its importance. Practice self acceptance. Accept what your position is. Each tooth is its role. I'm gonna accept me for me, my gifts, my talents, my abilities. Nothing is too weird. You're not weird. It's you. You're not strange. It's you. You're not slow. It's you. You're not fast. It's you. I am me. I am Zion. And whatever that entails, I accept myself. Now, what does that mean? So now I know my culture, my history, spiritual connection, relationship. Now let's take a look at the attributes that I have. Let's take a look at these things. I'm going to accept me. I'm not tall. I'm cool with that. But if you interact with me, you cannot tell that I don't see myself as tall. I'm not big, muscle bound. But I accept myself where I am, and according to who I am at this moment, I'm strong. I don't measure myself according to someone else. I measure myself according to me. God wants you to measure yourself according to how he designed you. Not how he designed your friend or your some kids down the block or your mama. No, how did God design you? You have an importance to God. Accept who you are in God, the way you are. And when you can get that, you will be able to slip into the part of the body of God that you are. What body part are you? What part of the body are you? You once you accept who you are, that's easy. Now, can someone else accept it? That's another issue. Everybody doesn't have well, they're not accepting who I am. And I've been through that. I go through that. You're not accepting who I'm called to be. You're not accepting the part of the body that I am. It's not their job to accept you. Do you accept you? And is this elbow? If I sit down on you, not an elbow. What? Does this elbow move? No. It's accepting its job and it does what it's supposed to do. Right? Can't change it. And I can't stop it. I can't take my elbow and make it into something that it's not. Self-acceptance. Practice it, love it, embrace it. That's what people say. How do you keep going? Because I've accepted who God called me and what God placed in me and how I fit in the body of God. I can't stop it now. I can't hold it now. Why? Because I followed my heart. And I love the feeling I get when I take the greatest me and apply it to my experience of community. Mm. My I is plural. My level of consciousness. I am because of we are. I am because we are. And we are because of the greater I am. My consciousness is shared with yours. Your consciousness is shared with mine. We are God, understanding God through individual experiences. We are one, but we are many. Ain't that something? Many in the one. One is many. Consciousness. And so I fully accept the part I play in this journey. And so when you are able to practice self acceptance with who you are, mm, being the greatest that you can possibly be, then you can step into the zone of true self care. Because now you're going to love you. You're going to sit down and love on you. Why? Because the love that you have right here is the love that you have out there. When you hold somebody and hug somebody, that's you hugging you. They're an extension and expression of you. So when you're in joy, you hug somebody in joy. When you're crying because somebody hurt, you hug somebody in condolence. You can embrace self-care. You're going to take care of every little piece of you. You're going to make sure you oil. People talk about you got ashy elbows, ashy knees, ashy ankles. You're going to take care of that ash. You're going to make sure everything about you is beautiful because you're a reflection of the people that look at you. I want you to see me and see how great you are because I am you and you and me, and I live in the love and self-care. And when you see me take care of me, you see me take care of you. And I continue to give. This is that process. And when we're watching our kids grow, go, and do the things that they're doing, this is what they do. They're becoming manifestations. Man, my grandmother came to me the other night. My grandmother's been gone for some years now. And she's sitting in my house, and I'm sitting there, and she's talking to me, and I'm crying because I could feel it. I could feel it. I embracing myself in my journey so much. She is saying, these are the parts of you that I poured in. I said, huh? And I had to give thanks to her. Incense, candles, prayer, gratitude, thanks. And she said, continue giving because I saw this in you and I believed this was who you are. My grandmother told my mother when I was born, that boy's going to be a minister or a lawyer. He has to, it's something, he's got something to give to this world. He's got something to give, Mildred. He's got a spirit of God on him. And she cultivated that to the point where I began to love me. I didn't like it when she was doing it. I ran. Nah, I ain't trying to do what you wanted me to do, Grandma. I want to do what I want to do. Until I became the African. And she said, keep doing this, this, and this. I got you. Self care. Loving on yourself is like loving on everybody else that ever loved on you. I'm going to say that again. I like the way I said it. Loving on yourself is like loving on everybody else that loved on you. Because your eye is plural. They just cared. And so if you find yourself in a dark space, pull back and think about everybody that poured in you. You are a manifestation of them. Find ways to shake it off and get back at it. Know your pain to know your gain. No pain. That doesn't mean no pain, N-O, no pain. If you don't have no pain, you can't grow. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. I say know it. Experience it. Love it. Move on. Think about those individuals who loved on you. So now love on yourself. They say, oh, you can't love anybody unless you know how to love yourself. But I'm going to challenge that thought. You love on people according to how someone has loved on you or how you wanted to be loved. If I don't love me, can I love someone else? Absolutely. However, love has levels of degrees. If I love on myself as though I'm loving on someone else, so that way when that someone else comes into contact with me, we share. And then if I love on someone else better than I love on myself, then that's a thought of understanding. Key, keep educating. Hey, why do I love on the outward me versus the inward me? Now let me give the inward me some more love because the outward me are the people that you share love to. The inward you is the people that is the spirit within. So let me balance that. Keep educating yourself about you. If there's pain on the inside, find ways to replace the pain with the gain on the inside. It's a balance, it's a journey. It's a definite journey. Some people have lived lives where they loved other people greater than themselves, sacrifice. And they felt that was where their heart was. And there was nothing wrong with it. It's nothing right or wrong with it. Unless you feel something wrong with it. My daughter gets mad, Daddy, you got to take care. Yeah, but I love loving on these people like this. And if it takes me to where I'm going, I'm going to still do it. Why? Because it's in my heart to do. Can't help it. It's what I'm called to do. I love on me. Self-care is me sometimes loving on others. Why? Because it makes me feel better. I love it. Now, if you can love on you and you good at it, now see if you can love on the other you, which is the people that you see. Again, your I is plural. Can you love on others the way you love on you? And then the, when you love on others, can you love on you the way you love on others? It's a balance. It's not one or the other. It's both. Separating it is a problem. I'm gonna love on me, and I'm gonna love on me. I'm gonna love on the me that is here, and then I'm gonna love on the me that is there. I'm gonna do both. Some I may do more than others, but I'm gonna do both. And it depends on the situation and circumstance of how you do it. Sometimes you're not giving somebody the magnitude of love you give. Why? Because they can't handle it. Sometimes you don't give yourself as much love as you give out because it's not that time. You don't need it. But when you need it, people go, I need to fill my cup up. Okay, so then how do you fill your cup up? Some people fill their cup up by self-love, but some people fill their cup up by giving love. It's not a clear science to this thing. It depends on how you're walking, right? How are you walking? Let that determine the part of the body you are. How do you see yourself in God? How do you see yourself in your community? How do you see yourself in people? Don't forget to attach yourself to a cause, to a community, to a purpose to continue functioning. You take the heart out the body drops. You take the hands, you can't pick up nothing. You got to find out how to use other parts. Other parts then become certain things that, they got to adapt. You take out a lung, you can live with one lung. What part of the body are you? Do you give life? Do you help work? Do you love? Are you a fragrance of great sense? Are you a listener? What part of the body of God are you? And how do you use that? That's the rise of the African when we realize that we are one being, seeking to manifest ourselves on this earth where we all have heaven now. Revelation. Heaven now is us working as one body. I want heaven. I want a unified people that functions as one body. Multiple parts, but one body. What part do you play? And if I'd ask, play a good one. We'll be able to get the blessings of who we are and what we're called and accomplish the things that we're called to do. With that being said, let the African in you rise.